Next we have Emma from Stitching Me Softly telling you a little bit more about crocheting and also showing you some of her fabulous kits. It's so good to have you on here and chatting all about you and Stitching Me Softly.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's really nice to get to see everybody again and chat to them.
Because usually we see each other at the show, sort of every show that we go to. But yeah, it's a bit different at the moment, isn't it? With
really different.
So anyway, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about you and Stitching Me Softly as a business and how you got started, really.
So a bit about me. I live in Bristol and I run Stitching Me Softly full time now, although it started off part time when I was on maternity leave with my youngest daughter. And it's just kind of grown from there really, and just carried on sort of plugging away at it, and now I'm here doing it full time.
That's amazing. So how did you start getting into doing the crochet?
I originally taught myself to crochet when my middle daughter was born, because I wanted to make her cute little toys and stuff. So I got a kids learn to crochet book because it was full of pictures as well as words, and I thought that would be a lot easier to follow, and you just sort of followed the little step-by-step projects in there, and then at the end you kind of knew what you were doing, and then it just sort of grew from there really.
Amazing. Yeah, so I love all the, obviously I've got one of your necklaces on today. Really nice. And you do quite a wide range of kits, don't you? And different projects with all the beautiful colours you've got in the background there.
All of these. Yeah, so the kits kind of developed out of me starting to teach workshops. So when I started Stitching Me Softly, I just sold ready-made items, and then I started teaching workshops to teach other people how to make them, because that was like a fun thing to do. And then lots of people contacted me saying, I can't make it to the workshops. Is there any way I could have the materials in a written instruction sheet? So the kits kind of grew from there, and then they were the most popular seller, obviously, because everyone wants to learn how to make things themselves, which is great. I love it. So I've just sort of put my energy into designing new kits now, and that's why the range has got where it has now. Yeah,
because I love seeing all your you've got your little pots. I remember I made one of your little baskets, which were really fun to make. So the beginner, they're really sort of beginner friendly, aren't they, to get started with?
Yeah, that's right. So I thought it was important that they were nice and simple, and that people who never crocheted before could give them a go. So they're all quite quick makes. None of them take a particularly long time. And all of the sort of slightly more technical kits come with an instruction sheet and also a how-to crochet guide. So if you've never crocheted before, you can work your way through the little guide sheet first before you start making your project.
Yes, it's something to get your teeth into, especially if you are spending a bit more time at home as well, and learning a new craft is the perfect time, isn't it, really?
Yeah, totally. I think lockdown has given people some people a lot more time to sort of look into new hobbies and new things to keep them occupied, and nice, calming, relaxing activities, and crochet is perfect for that.
Yeah, definitely. So is there something that inspires you the most to create your kits, or the colours that inspire you the most? Is there
the colours is normally where I start with things, and then looking at stuff that I would use myself. So the kits I design and the sort of the end projects, I would like them to be things that people use. I have bought loads of craft kits in the past where I've made the thing and I'm like, oh, that's great, but now what do I do with it? Or it's just something you sort of hang on the wall and you look at, and that's lovely. But I wanted to design my kits as something that you could use and reuse, and have as part of your daily lives, and putting plants in nice pots in your house, or then having nice jewelry to wear as well. So yeah, that's sort of my focus, I guess.
Yeah, and do you have a favorite product or favorite kit?
Oh, it's such a tricky one. Probably the necklaces, just because they're so quick and anyone could do this. These particular ones that me and you are wearing, they're not made with a crochet hook. It's an old fisherman's knot, so it's more like macrame. You just use your fingers. So really anyone could have a go at these, probably from sort of age 7 or 8 upwards. And you can make one in about 20 minutes. And you can, if you make it and it doesn't really look as nice as you'd like it to be made, you can take it apart, make it again until you're really happy with it. And yeah, I guess that's what makes it my favorite, is how sort of easy and quick it is.
And how they match with so many different outfits, where you can make
a
statement piece, like, yeah, big contrast.
And they're so lightweight as well. Like, I think sometimes when you buy sort of like big statement necklaces, they're quite heavy and you sort of can feel them on you. But these, I forget I'm wearing them, to be honest. They're so light.
Yeah, and yeah, you'd think they were heavier than they are, because obviously how chunky they are, but they do really well. And the stitches as well, like, obviously, would you call these stitches if you're using your hands for them?
I think it's referred to as knotting. I call it woven because the knot kind of ends up looking woven, but the original knot is called a figure of 8 knot, and it's something that fishermen would have historically used on you know, with their ropes on their boats.
That's quite a nice little story, like, behind them almost as well.
Yeah, not that I'm a fisherman or anything, but
thought we were going to find out something something
no. No.
I love it. And are there any projects you're working on next, or a project you're currently working on personally as well?
Well, I've just bought out a new blanket kit, which is this one here, the colour block blanket.
I saw that on your website.
It's so nice and snuggly. And these are pretty brand new on the website. And the idea is that you can choose your colours. So you get your cream and then you can choose the other 3 colours. And it's just a nice introduction into how to crochet like a slightly more in-depth piece, and how to do sort of color work in crochet as well. Again, really beginner friendly, simple to do. And the yarn is a merino acrylic blend. So it's really nice and warm and snuggly and soft, but you can still machine wash it, which I think is quite important with blankets and things, because they normally end up getting stuff on them. And then the next 2 kits coming out will be made in the same yarn, and I've got a unisex bobble hat kit and a baby bonnet kit, and they are going up in the next couple of weeks, so they will be probably up online by the time this goes up.
Exciting. So perfect Christmas presents as well.
Perfect Christmas presents, whether you want to give somebody the kit to make themselves or you want to buy it and then make them the piece and give them the piece, like, that's either way works well.
Yeah, making it for someone else.
Yeah, so I ran bobble hat classes last winter and the winter before, and people came and learned how to make them, and then they just went online and bought more yarn off my website and then made them for friends and family. So they were, you know, made multiple presents just from coming to one class.
Wow. That's really good.
Yeah.
Obviously you can't do sort of classes as in person. Are you doing any classes online at all?
I've thought about it, and I've not like discounted it or anything. I just haven't found the time to sort of really get it organized yet. So I mean, I could do a format where people sign up to a class and I send everybody the kit and then we make it online over Zoom. But it's quite hard to help people with crochet if you're not there in the room and able to sort of get quite close to them, I guess. So that's why I've sort of shied away from it up until now. But maybe with the necklace kits, that would be a nice one, because they're a little bit simpler. I don't know. Ideas. I like it.
So would you say the necklace is a good place to start? Is that
yeah, definitely. Even the crochet necklace, so simple, really nice, easy technique, and like a really quick make. So if you wanted to, you know, whip one up to go with a particular outfit for the next day, then you can just sit down of an evening, chuck the telly on, put your feet up, and it will be done within half an hour to an hour. So yeah,
once you get going, you can then, like you say, make lots of them. So
yeah,
carried away and make them all in all colours.
Make them in all the colours, give them to all your mates for Christmas. Yeah, it's a great one.
So I want to ask you as well, is there one tip that you would give to a beginner who is just starting off crocheting?
So when I teach, one of the classes that I teach is beginners crochet, and a lot of people come and they go, oh, I tried to learn to crochet before by watching YouTube videos, but I got really lost and stuck. And the reason that people get lost when they first start out watching YouTube videos is that American terminology and UK terminology, they use the same words, but they mean different stitches. And I think a lot of people sort of stumble over that because what they're trying to make doesn't match what the person on the screen is making. So I think, yeah, that's the biggest tip, is if you are going to try and learn from YouTube, just be aware that American terminology and UK terminology, same words, but they mean different stitches. So it's worth maybe getting a book or a little guide to sort of explain the differences to you first before you sort of dive into YouTube. I mean, if you are in the UK then, and you do want to learn from YouTube, then maybe search for UK crochet tutorials. And again, if you're in the US, search for US crochet tutorials, so that you, at least you know what you're watching will be in sort of the right terminology for maybe what you're trying to make.
Yeah, because it can vary with like the sort of patterns and the designs.
Yes, yeah. And the stitches are all sort of slightly different heights and sizes, and you would use them in different ways, but they're sort of called the same things, but they mean different things. Yeah.
It's handy to know, especially if you are starting off. So lastly, do you have any tips for other small businesses at this time at the moment?
Oh, that's a good one. So I would recommend, if you are starting up a small business, or you already are, run a small business and you haven't already, I would try and connect with other small businesses, like either in your area or people who do a similar thing to you, and connect sort of virtually. That's the biggest thing that's helped me develop my business over the years, is that I joined our local Etsy team, because I also have an Etsy shop. And in Bristol, we've got quite a big Etsy team, and they're geographical, so you can find a local one. But if you're not an Etsy seller, then I would sort of search on Facebook for like small business groups in your area, and like really connect with them, because they're just so helpful and everyone is happy to help. And you can go on there and say, oh, I'm designing this new kit, but I need a different size box. Has anyone got any ideas? Where's the best place to get this kind of size box? And then loads of people can fire back their ideas and stuff. So it's really nice to be part of like a community. And then if you have a really bad day and you've spoken to a customer who's not been so nice to you, you can just sort of vent in there and everyone makes you feel better.
Yeah, it's really good for like recommendations and things like that, like you say. And
Yes.
connecting one another, a bit more of a community base, isn't it? Because everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
You'll share like your thoughts with each other and sort of get a little bit of a relaxation time maybe outside of like business hours and stuff, which is really nice. But it's been lovely to have you on for our little Q&A.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been really good to get to know you and stitching you softly a bit more and seeing all new kits and everything coming out. I'm very excited. Thank you for joining us.
All right, sweetie.
And we'll see you soon. Speak to you soon. Bye.